On August 17th, new rules for buying a home in California go into effect. Rules that will make it more difficult and more expensive for the average home buyer. And making matters worse, there's new paperwork to accompany the new rules. Paperwork designed to confuse home buyers and enrich dishonest agents. And I know that sounds hyperbolic, but as I'm about to show you, it's really not. In fact, if you sign the wrong document instead of the right one, you could get stuck paying an agent $20,000 or $25,000 just for opening a door. And that's whether you actually hire that agent or not. I'm Jon Schwartz, and I've sold tens of millions of dollars worth of homes in Southern California, mostly representing first-time home buyers. So I'm appalled at the new paperwork produced by the California Association of Realtors. This video is my PSA to all California homebuyers. I'm going to show you which new form you should never sign, as well as which new form you should be using and how to use it correctly so you don't get screwed over. Let's get right into it. This new paperwork is needed because of two new rules that are going into effect about how agents earn their commissions. The first rule requires the home buyer to pay their agent out of their own pocket. And I made a whole video, check it out here, explaining how not to get screwed over by that rule. The second rule states that a buyer's agent must have a signed representation agreement before even showing a home to a prospective buyer. And to facilitate this rule, there are two new documents that agents will be asking you to sign. One is a dangerous trap that slimy agents will exploit to force a commission out of you, while the other is actually pretty decent. I'll explain which is which after I bring us up to speed on the standard paperwork already in use. And before I confuse you with a bunch of convoluted document names, you can get everything I'm about to explain in a handy-dandy PDF, which I'm calling the California Homebuyer's Guide to Not Getting Screwed Over, by signing up at www.buywithblueprint.com. This will put you on the interest list for Blueprint, my new low-cost, high-trust buyer's agent service that I'll be launching in just a week or two. Watch this video, but also sign up to get the PDF so you can refer to it later. Now back to the explanation. Even after the August 17th rule changes, we'll still have the traditional buyer representation and broker compensation agreement. This is the paperwork that's been used for years to establish the working relationship between a home buyer and the agent representing them. This agreement details how long the relationship will last, what kind of properties are included, where the agreement is in force, and how much the buyer's agent will be paid. This agreement can be canceled by the home buyer or the agent at any time, and it can be exclusive or non-exclusive. A non-exclusive agreement allows the home buyer to work with any agent who finds them a great property, while an exclusive agreement binds the home buyer to a specific agent. This is the traditional agreement document. It's still in use, and I recommend using only this document to make a representation agreement with a buyer's agent. But don't use it until you've found the right agent to work with. If you're in the early stages of looking for a home, interview a few buyer's agents before signing this agreement with anyone. California has over 250,000 licensed real estate agents. Don't settle for a new agent who doesn't have any experience. Don't work with a shifty dude who gives you bad vibes. I tell my friends, don't work with an agent who isn't also a homeowner. The worst thing that can happen is for you to get stuck with a slimy agent who has no experience and doesn't protect you through the purchase process. And that's exactly what's designed to happen with the next form we're going to discuss. A real fuck you from realtors to homebuyers in the guise of a document that's supposed to make everything easier. Let me show you what I mean. Because agents will now have to sign a representation agreement before showing a single home, the California Association of Realtors has produced this, the Property Showing and Representation Agreement. It's much shorter than the traditional representation agreement, and it's meant to be used when a home buyer connects with an agent to see a home or attend an open house together. And it has the appearance of a much more limited, much more casual agreement. It applies to 3 properties max. The representation period can be as short as 1 day. The home buyer can cancel the agreement anytime, and best of all, it's not exclusive. It's really just a formality. And that's exactly the bullshit you're going to hear from shady agents when they try to get you to sign it. But let's take a closer look, shall we? What does non-exclusive actually mean here anyway? Well, compensation is payable only if there was a broker involvement with the property. What's a broker involvement? It means any of the following. Prospective buyer physically entered and was shown the property by broker. Broker showed the property to prospective buyer virtually. broker performed a market analysis related to the property, or the property was introduced to prospective buyer by broker. So if you sign one of these with an agent, let's call him Carl, you don't have to work exclusively with Carl. You can sign more of these with other agents for other properties. But if you do decide you like one of the properties you see with Carl, you have to compensate Carl. For any properties listed on this agreement, you have a binding, one might even say exclusive, agreement to compensate Carl. Aha, you're thinking, but the representation period could be just a day or shorter. If I meet Carl at the house and he's a total dick, I can cancel this agreement and find another agent, someone whom I can trust with this huge purchase. Oh, if only it were that simple. You see, the representation period may be limited, but you will owe Carl a commission on this property forever. Broker shall be entitled to compensation whether any escrow resulting from this agreement closes during or after the representation period. No matter whether you hire Carl or not, if you've signed one of these, Carl's entitled to get his commission. Broker may submit this agreement as instructions to compensate broker to any escrow regarding property involving prospective buyer and a seller or other transferor. Look, this document is a scam, and the only people who benefit from it are shyster agents at the big money brokerages. Let me unpack that for you. The only time you're likely to encounter the property showing and representation agreement is if you don't take the time to find an agent you like, and instead, when you see a great home on Redfin or Zillow or Realtor.com, you click the buttons on those sites to see it. Because here's what you may not know. Firstly, Redfin isn't just a great website. It's the fourth largest brokerage in America. And it's become such a large brokerage by hiring an army of low-paid, inexperienced, brand new agents to do the busy work of, you guessed it, showing homes to potential buyers. Is that the kind of agent with whom you want to enter a binding agreement to pay a commission? And secondly, Zillow and Realtor.com are even worse. At those sites, you, the homebuyer, are the product. Zillow and Realtor.com sell you as a lead to literally the highest bidder, which is usually a mega brokerage with its own army of young, inexperienced agents who are sent out to learn the business while working with, you guessed it, potential buyers who want to see homes. Again, not the kind of agent with whom you should be signing a binding contract for payment, which, by the way, is traditionally $27,000 on a median California home. So what are California homebuyers to do when the deck is so stacked against them? And what about a homebuyer who maybe doesn't want to deal with an agent at all? Well, fortunately, the California Association of Realtors has produced one document that acts as a saving grace. But to use this document, which I'll reveal in a moment, you have to deal with the seller's agent directly. And fortunately, the major real estate websites still share the seller's agent's name and phone number. On Redfin, it's usually right under the pictures. And if not there, it's under the property stats. Same on Zillow, usually under the pictures and always under the property stats. On Realtor.com, you have to scroll to the bottom of the listing page and click on the name under Listed By. This will bring you to the seller's agent's profile, which should include a phone number. After you have the agent's name and number, call them and say, I'd like to see your listing at 123 Main Street. I'm not going to sign a representation agreement with you, but I will sign this, the Open House Visitor Non-Agency Disclosure and Sign-In. Now, we'll probably start seeing these sign-ins at open houses, and what this document says is that the agent showing the home does not represent the visitors viewing the home. I mean, it's pretty clear. Agent does not represent visitor. Communication with the agent at the open house or property tour is for the benefit of the seller. Communication with that agent is not confidential. But here's the thing that no other agent in California is going to tell you. This document does not only apply to open houses. You can use it just to make an appointment to see a house. Look, agent is holding an open house or conducting in-person or live virtual tours of the property listed above. This sentence is what will allow you to see homes in California without signing away the commission to some asshole you haven't even met. So again, call the seller's agent directly and say, I'd like to see your listing at 123 Main Street. I won't sign a representation agreement with you, but I will sign the Open House Visitor Non-Agency Disclosure and Sign-In. When can we meet at the property? And to get this script written out on a PDF so you have it at the ready, go to www.buywithblueprint.com and drop me your email. This is also where, when it launches around August 17th, I'll be offering my low-cost, high-trust buyer's agent service, Blueprint. That's the name of the web app I'm building, which breaks down the home buying process into 12 steps, provides video lessons and easy-to-understand questionnaires for each step, and for everything else, we have a chat box that connects us, you and me, directly. By streamlining the process, I'm able to provide home buyers anywhere in California with top-tier representation and advice at a fraction of the usual cost, which will allow you to present better offers and win the home you want. Join the interest list at www.buywithblueprint.com. Everybody on the interest list will get an additional discount when the site goes live, as well as my new PDF, The California Homebuyer's Guide to Not Getting Screwed Over. And stay tuned right here for more videos about how to find the home of your dreams without an agent charging you for it.